Hey folks, welcome to episode 50. We've done a couple of episodes on belaying, and now we're going to get into lead belaying. I want to stress, this video is no substitute for getting instruction from a competent individual who can teach you hands-on how to lead belay. It's not as simple as belaying on top rope. You can make mistakes. So, watch the video and then find somebody that'll teach you and mentor you on how to do it properly. Lead belaying follows the same principles as top rope belaying. Always keep your hand on the brake strand of the rope. Double check to make sure your device is loaded properly, and make sure that your belay beaner is locked. Let's get started.
Yeah.
Belaying a lead climber has different considerations from belaying a top roper. For one, a lead fall is going to put a more jolting force onto the rope if the leader falls above the protection. This means the belayer could get yanked into the wall if the direction of the rope is angled out away from the wall. In other words, the belayer is standing too far away from the wall. If the rope is more vertical than horizontal, that is, the belayer is closer to the wall, the belayer will be pulled upward, which is generally fine. The belayer serves as a counterweight to the falling climber. Sometimes jumping up will provide a soft catch for the falling climber. It results in a slightly longer fall, but a more gradual deceleration for the climber, reducing the impact on the climber and the protection. First, and this is admittedly a cliffism, the belayer should spot the climber until the climber has the rope clipped into the first piece of protection. So many belayers get smug when the leader asks, "On belay?" and the belayer snarks, "Not yet, not until you get to the first piece." Wrong. First and foremost, when you say belay on, you indicate that you have now assumed responsibility for the climber's safety. That means you must provide a spot until the climber gets the rope into the first piece of pro. Leaders break ankles, or worse, when they fall before getting the first piece in, and they hit the ground while the belayer looks on dumbfounded. Until that first piece is clipped, you guys are bouldering partners. Safety begins at the ground, not at the first piece. I feel strongly about this because I have caught climbers taking ground falls. I take this charge seriously. I once detached a biceps catching a climber who snapped a handhold while trying to clip a high first bolt. We both went down, we both suffered injuries, hers were minor, mine more severe, but we both walked away. Safety begins from the moment the belayer utters, "Belay on." Belaying a top rope climb involves pulling in slack more than paying it out. Lead belaying is the converse of that. However, lead belaying isn't just about giving slack. More so than with top roping, lead belaying involves much more in and out, taking in and giving out slack. An attentive lead belay is a busy belay, constantly adjusting how much slack is in the system, paying out, pulling in, paying out again. Generally speaking, as the leader progresses up the climb, trailing the rope behind her, you as the belayer must pay out slack. But don't get sloppy and pay out too much slack, or a fall will result in a much longer trip down than necessary. Too much slack, and a simple fall could become a ground fall. This is where the in and out slack management comes into play. See this belay? The belayer is paying out slack, but not taking in the excess. Add in the droop between the belayer and the first protection point on the wall, and the climber could hit the ground if he falls before he gets high enough for this belay to be worth anything. Conversely, too little slack and your climber's fighting against the rope as it tugs on her, trying to pull her down. This is particularly a problem when the climber needs slack to clip protection. She will pull up rope, and the belayer who can't give her the slack quickly enough ends up short roping her. This is a huge problem when the leader is sketching and about to fall, desperately trying to clip pro before peeling off. If she gets up some slack, but not enough to reach the beaner, and she comes off, the resultant fall is longer than it would have been if she hadn't pulled up any slack to begin with. To pay out slack quickly for a clip, you don't use itty-bitty hand movements through your belay device.
Some people, when they're giving us slack, they do little stuff. We don't do that. We don't shuffle steer. When the climber's clipping, this ain't going to cut it.
To pay out slack quickly, slide your brake hand to full arms extension. Yard it through your belay device. A yard is about what you're pulling, actually. You will probably have to do 2 big pulls for a high clip because most high clips take up 6 to 7 feet of slack. Check out the high clips episode for more details. Now, once the climber clips the pro, she's going to climb higher. That means she's going to get closer to the bolt at first, essentially top roping to the bolt. So you should take up the slack like you would for a top rope. Many lazy belayers do not take up this slack, leaving the climber at risk of an unnecessarily long fall. Take up the slack until the climber passes the bolt. Then you're paying out slack again. You need to pay attention to time this right. It's your job as a belayer. Lead belaying consists of constantly alternating between giving out and taking up slack. There's a lot of movement going on. See how all this operates on this climb here. Hey folks, this marks our 50th episode. Thanks for tuning in and supporting this channel. It means a lot. One or two of you suggested that I upgrade to better equipment. Right now I'm shooting on regular 1080p high definition. The best way for me to upgrade is if enough viewers subscribe to this channel so that YouTube lets me monetize it. Then I might be able to afford some 4K gear. So, subscribe if you haven't already. Get your friends to subscribe, even your non-climber buddies. Tell them, hey, check Cliff out. He's pretty funny. Yeah, looks aren't everything. But I have a few non-climbing friends who are subscribers who just want to tune in and laugh at me and maybe learn a little something about this strange sport. Get folks to subscribe so I can upgrade to 4K. Imagine that. Seeing my mug in 4K high definition. You'd see my wrinkles, my shaving nicks, my zits, my nose hairs, that piece of cilantro stuck between my teeth. Hey, I'm not so sure I'm ready for 4K Ultra HD.